Καλημέρα, γεια σας. Ήρθαμε στο σπίτι μας. Το έχω φτιάξει όλο, μόνος μου.
Hi, my name's Andy and we are in Clomontiana. So this is our build of shipping containers with off-grid solar panels. This is the entrance to the site off the main road where we had to bring the shipping containers down, which is a bit of a tight squeeze. We are in Corfu, Clomontiana, which is South Corfu, below Corfu town, and we have a lovely view of the east coast of Corfu looking over to the mainland, and also a bit further down you'll see over to the west coast as well. So we get sunrise in the morning with the sun coming around, and we also get to see the sunset every night as well. It's a bit of a mess at the moment because it's an ongoing build, and so we've got sand, cement, everything going on. Up here, this container here is our first one, which was down below to start off with. We decided to move it up here, and we have this as a workshop. And so we have benches and welders and grinders and everything else in there. And we have always thought for ourselves to actually do a container home. And it's probably been in our minds for sort of 15 years to actually do a container home, and always looked at them and thought, wow, that was so cool to go from something which has been used for one thing to repurpose and use for another thing. So the land here is 4,000 square metres. It's all terraced, going mostly downhill, so we've had to cut in to the hill here and then fill it on the far side with gabions underneath so that it won't all just wash away. And we then slowly brought the containers in, and he drove them down. Well, we had the concrete base first of all, which, being the first people in the west of Greece to get a license for shipping containers home, it took them a long time. It took us a year to get a license for this, and which is also why they don't really understand about shipping containers. When they actually go to the planning office to put in for requests, it's a case of they want to live in a metal box. It's like 40 odd degrees in the summer. They're going to roast. But we also came up with that we have to have a complete footprint of concrete underneath the containers, which is ridiculous, seeing as they sit on 4 17 square centimetre corners. But hey ho, hopefully we'll be trendsetters, and the next people will then understand that you don't have to do this, and hopefully they'll change the law, they'll bring different laws in. But it cost a lot of money. It took a big chunk out of our money that we had set aside for the build. That's my son, Jamie.
Hi, I'm James, Andy's son, and the builder of the Corfu container home. Yeah, I was born in the UK and brought out here at about 3 months old, and I've gone through the entire Greek school system and all that. My involvement has been pretty much doing all the welding and the cutting and everything. So you see that panel there, I cut that out, and every other little hole and all the braces you find inside, I did all that. I lifted all the floors up and put insulation down. Yeah, all the metal work up top. Oh, and you see the windows. I cut all the holes out there. I put the windows on top and then sealed all of them as well. That's what I studied as I went to technical college and studied engineering and welding and fabrication. That's my profession, really.
Hi, Lee Naylor, off-grid installer. Here we are in Corfu. You may have seen last Christmas we did an off-grid container system. I did say we'd see you on the other side of the planet, and here we are in beautiful Corfu. If you pan round, you've probably already seen on the video so far. It's a shipping container home. You've met my customer Andy already. We're going to take you around, have a look at the system and see the final finished installation. Okay, so here we are up on the roof. Beautiful view. We've actually installed 30 375 watt solar panels, giving us around 11,000 or 11.1 kilowatts of solar. Split cell solar panels. Nice big array, shallow angle because we're further south in the hemisphere. This system should easily keep them off grid for 11 to 11 and a half months of the year. They may need to use the generator for brief periods of the year to top the batteries up. But no, this is what you call a substantial array. We used a short rail clamping system, which I can grab and show you one. So effectively, there's lots of these U-shaped clamps that are tech screws into the roof. This is a universal bracket, which will act as a mid clamp and an end clamp, which I'll show you. So that would be a mid clamp. Clamps the two sides of the panels down. If it's at the top or the bottom, it would act as an end clamp, which clamps the panel down on the one side. All the cables go up over the roof, in and under, into the container. We've strung the panels up. There's 6 strings of solar panels on here, so it's 6 strings of 5 solar panels. And the way the strings actually work, we've got a string of 5 going up, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and so on to the top.
Over in the far distance, you can actually see Albania. It's the big mountains at the back, and then the strip of land in front of that is Greece. Going over to further down to your right-hand side is Igoumenitsa, which is the largest port on the west coast. And if you look through the trees here, that's the west coast, and the sun sets over there.
Yeah, this was the first container that we ever bought, and it was literally, we were going to make it into a workshop so we can build the rest of this place.
This is the first container that we had, and we've fitted it out for a workshop. So we use it for all our tools, grinders, welders. We have wood benches, you name it, probably we've got it. This was the first one, so it must have been maybe about a year ago, let's say. And then slowly we had the other containers, and our last 2 we had a problem getting because of COVID and the restriction of the movement of containers in the whole world. It was a big problem getting the last 2, and when we bought ours, the price wasn't too bad. They have literally doubled in price since we bought ours. So they've gone from around 3,000, 3,500 euros for a 20-foot high cube. That's a one-trip one. It's these white ones. They've only done one trip from China. To now, if you go and buy one, they're around about 7,000 euros. So to build the house, which is, well, it's going to be 6 containers, when we bought, it's not too bad. And we've also got 2. This one's a workshop, the other one which is just being used as storage, but it was partly a workshop as well. We have 6 containers for the house. The first one, you can see this length, is going to be a self-contained unit, a small studio, which will be for friends, and if we want to, maybe Airbnb, not too sure. But that's the first one. And then we have 2 then on a line that way, which are mostly the kitchen and pantry. And because we're both trained as chefs, so it's lots of cooking. And lots of outside cooking, and lots of smoking, and lots of barbecues. And then from that, there's the 2 yellow ones. One's going to be the bathroom and toilet, and then the second one is the bedroom and clothes area. And the green one at the far end is the plant room for all the solar bits. Plus, we're going to put fridges, freezers, and might even put a gym in there. There's some bits in there already, but I can't see myself doing much exercise. We do like the outside bit. There's lots of outside. In summertime, it's so warm here that you spend 90% of your time outside. And around the roof where the solar panels, that's all going to be boxed in as well. We're thinking maybe it's going to be clear, some type of clear plastic on this side, but it's going to be probably just a metal all wood front on this side and the far end as well, just to let a little bit more light in, even though there's going to be plenty of light from the front. So we're actually going to, on the green one at the end, we're putting some stairs up on the outside. Just the green one, we're going to put that into with deck on the top. So if we want to, we can sit up there and do the rest of it. The rest of the roof, the 2 yellow ones and all of the white ones, you can see there's like we put a metal edge around. It's not finished yet. We need to put some more metal edging around and some more struts up there to hold it. It's then going to have a TPO membrane on there, and in about another 2-3 weeks we have guys coming over from the mainland to put our living garden on the roof, and so it's all going to be insulated with garden. We're doing a lot of sedum and anything else which will grow really in the summer, maybe summer plants. It will also have water lines through there, so it will be watered in the summer. So just had to put that on a timer. And that's going to be the insulation for the roof.
I was going to say, yeah.
Because otherwise it will just get too hot. And with the water, just keeping it slightly damp, it'll keep the temperature down. And then of course on the outside we're going to foam clad it first of all, and then it's going to have wood on the outside, and then some like Tyvek membrane, and then wood slats on top of that, all the way on the outside. So it'll have about 8-10 centimeters of foam cladding on the outside, because on the inside we don't really want insulation. Apart from maybe the back, from the kitchen at the back, we're going to have some walls, of course, with tiles and whatever in the kitchen. But the rest of it, we like the sort of industrial look on the inside. So, and total shade as well. Yeah, the roof has had some friends from a metal shop which I've known for a long time, and they came and welded all the roof together for us, which was really nice. And put the foam roof on as well. And it's strong enough to take 30 panels.
Okay, just to demonstrate some of the power uses of an off-grid solar system, we've got an air conditioning unit here. It's freestanding, wheel mill falling off, but it still works. We've got it set on high mode. Okay, so blowing out lots of cold air. We'll go into the plant room. So currently the battery's 97%. I don't think the load of the air conditioning unit's really hit in yet, but there's a lot more power available off the panels. It's just there's nowhere for the power to go at the moment because the battery's nearly fully charged. So yeah, I mean, you saw the system on the last video. I've still got to do the generator lead, which won't take me long, but I thought I'd leave it exposed and open so you can see a bit more about the system. Consumer unit, and here are all the batteries installed. 8 lithium iron phosphate, 2.44 kilowatt hours per battery. Total storage of around 20 kilowatt hours. String fuses, master isolator for the inverter, the 2 solar controllers, brain of the unit, solar isolators, string fuses. Put a light in here, so you walk in, a light comes in straight away. And your 240 isolator. Okay, so here, this is the colour control screen. It shows you the inverter, what power is going out to the inverter, which is the air conditioning unit. That's drawing 830 watts. The little blue dots are showing you the flow of energy, so from the PV charger, which is generating more than what's being used, the flow of energy is going into the batteries to keep the batteries carry on charging, but the majority of the energy is going straight into the inverter, which is then powering the air conditioning unit. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn off the circuit for the air conditioning unit, which is here, and you'll see the AC loads are dropping down, and so will the solar, and that's effectively because the system's reacting to the power that's being used, because it can't use all the available power to charge the batteries, because we'll end up damaging them in an absorption battery charge state. And now if I turn it back on, you'll see that the AC loads will increase again, and so will the amount of solar coming in off the panels. Might take a while for the air conditioning unit to get up to its cooling threshold.
That's a storage one at the moment. That's just for our bits and bobs that will go into the house eventually, and that will become either a man cave or a storage container. But we'll bury that somewhere on the property, and we're not sure where yet.
Yeah, so here I am with my customer, Andy Munro. Just really wanted Andy to talk a little bit about the main reasons why he went down the off-grid solar route.
Well, on this plot of land, the access to it is, how far would you say from the main road? About 400 metres, something like that. To get electric from there, it's got to come via poles, which cost anywhere between about €1,000 each to get them to come and put poles in. And we're going to need 3 poles between wherever that is to here. And so that's one factor. And then another factor is it's going to be here for another 20, 30 years. When I leave this planet, then my son is going to have all this. He will probably upgrade on the way, but he's also going to have free electric. So it's a no-brainer for me, really.
And also, it was part of the planning, wasn't it, that to get your system passed through?
To get to all of this, we had also like an eco side to it as well. So being off-grid and having shipping containers, we are the first people in the west of Greece to have a license to build a shipping container home. There are homes on the island, but none of them have licenses. So for us to go through the process of doing everything and banging our heads against walls, especially on the main thing is the concrete, but don't get me on that. But it's part of the whole package was being sort of eco as well, and then getting the license for it all.
Well, I find this a lot in the UK and other places in the world. A lot of people really choose to go off grid, like Andy said, because of the cost of actually getting connected onto the grid. So you're paying for the privilege of buying your own electric. So it may cost 50, 60, 70,000 euros to get your electric grid connection put in. But then on top of that, you've then got to buy your electric, which means over the next 20 years, the cost of electric is going up. We've just heard in Greece,
It's going up
in
70%.
70% in the next couple of months. The cost of electric is going up by 70%. This is going to be seen for the world throughout. And this is an increase this year. Another 5 years, where's the price of electric going to be then? So this is why it makes sense to go off-grid, because you've got your own independent free power supply. If you get a power cut like I experienced 3-4 days ago in Corfu when they had a big storm, the whole island's electric went off for nearly a day. If that happens again in Corfu, Andy's power is still going to be on.
Still here. Still keep the beers cold in the fridge.
Yeah. Cheers, Andy.
Cheers.
Pleasure to meet you.
You
Thank you
too.
very much. Yeah, so off-grid installer is really capable of doing any project you need to power anything you want in any location or anywhere around the world. Obviously on this project we completed the installation of the container in the UK, shipped it out. Unfortunately due to COVID it's taken quite a few months for us to get out here to finish the job. But eventually we have come, we've completed the task, it's all up operational. And I wish Andy and Sarah, my customers, all the best in their container project. And if you need us anywhere in the planet and you've got a remote location, you need off-grid power, then you know where to find us.
So through all of them we got underfloor heating, and they've put in the concrete down here and this lovely brown flooring. We're going to have a mixture of both. We might even change from gas as well and have either biomass fuel. It could be wood. It's going to be the bathroom up the far end. You can see where the first blue lots of tape are. It's not going to be quite there. It's going to be further across. A wall across here with a sliding door, pocket door in the middle. Weird shower, toilet in there. It's got opening skylights so that we can actually have air circulating through as well. So most of the air which blows in is from the west coast, and so we've actually have it open that way so the air can come through and out, which will help. And then through here, we're going to have a door, or front door is going to be, we're not sure if it's there or there, but around here, the front door. And some cooking parts, sink, that sort of thing. Seating sort of here, and then you're going to say, well, where's the bed going? Well, the bed's actually going to be suspended and it's going to be coming down from the ceiling. We saw it on one of those the tiny houses programs, and it was amazing. So we've actually bought all the mechanism and we need to insulate it. We could call it a guest room for now, yes. It's a self-contained studio, and literally you could actually pick this whole thing up and move it somewhere else if you wanted to disconnect everything. Across here we're having a sliding door as well. So when you're lying in bed and you wake up in the morning, you're going to see the view of the west. This, well, first of all, this is the outside part, which is 11 metres by 5 metres underneath there. And it's going to be outside room, so there's going to be sofas and fire pit and barbecue, and probably projector and big screen, nighttime viewing, and maybe a hot tub over there in the corner. And then there's glass. All of this is going to be, we're talking with the guys at the moment who are doing the windows. It's either going to be 2 panes of glass or 3 panes. And all of this is going to be lifted to this height, and so then we can walk straight from the kitchen onto decking. So it'll all be decking out there. Decking, as in, but flooring anyway. Yeah. And there's going to be a small seating area up this end, so like a U-shaped seating area. Moving on to then oven, sink, cooker, fridge, and then from about here down to about here is the pantry, which is going to have, the wall's going to be out here with the sliding door here, so it'll keep all the food, plates, whatever, everything into there. And so because there's no cupboards on the wall, we're going to be putting plasterboard along here as well. and probably like subway tiles. But we're going to leave the metal on one side. On the top, where we've actually welded extra support for the roof. It still hasn't had, it's going to have some little shims in there to lift it up, so then the roof actually bows outwards. So then when the water is on the roof and it doesn't flood or dip down, it'll then drain off to the corners or the sides, which will then have drainage and guttering to come off. So this is going to be our front door. So this is going to be, it's going to be open 99.9% of the time, but if we go away, holiday or whatever, we can actually shut that up and lock it. But it's going to have normal, a glass part one side and a door the other side. So this is coming through to the bathroom. So we're having a separate toilet here. So about like that. And then from the end of that to the end of here is the bathroom. Again with the sliding door in the middle, coming across with a sink and shower, which they've lifted up slightly. That's going to be all in there. We also have in here, we're having a, it's going to be copper. It's still working on the roof there. So there's going to be copper piping coming up, and it's going to come through here, and the actual shower head is coming straight down. We're just coming from the bathroom toilet area, and we have then 3 doors along here. This is going to be split off, and this is going to be our closet, clothes, everything hanging up in here, dressing room, and then the bedroom is in here, which we have a door each. So the bed is actually going to go in the middle from this side to that side, and then we have a bit of a picture window. So when you're lying in bed, you get a view in the morning. It's got insulation on the outside. It's got a cool garden on the roof, and we're also going to have air conditioning. So we're going to have 1 unit in here and probably 1 unit in the kitchen.
And that'll be running from the solar?
Yes, all of it. Oh, and if you come out of the bedroom and turn right down the corridor here, where you see the blue tape, there's actually going to be a door there. And the solar wires are coming from the top above you over there through and they're going to be running through there and through that hole. It's all going to go through conduit. It's all going to be sort of hidden because it's in a build. You just sort of imagine it. In here is a plant room with all of this, and you can never have enough clothes horses, of course. So we have the batteries on the left, and it's just great with Lee because we phoned him up and he bought the container and fitted it out and shipped it out with all the solar panels for us. And so it arrived and we opened the doors and it was like this. Well, it didn't actually have the inverter on, that was in the box tied down. But everything was ready. So he just had to come out, fit up the panels, put the batteries into place, do the last bit of wiring.
This is going to be our shower head. So we're going to drill holes all the way along here and through these bars. And in one of those skylights over there, we're going to put it up into the skylight and it will rain down like it's raining from the light. It's very cool. Another little bits and bobs like this we'll make in here. It's like anything really that you see out there has probably come through this workshop at some point or another. Now I don't need to take the generator down, so if I ever need to do any work on the containers down there, which I will do in the future, I'll just use that power instead of having to run a noisy generator, which would be really, really good.
Across here, where all this comes out, we've got a trench dug out. We're putting a concrete base over there for a gas tank because we love cooking on gas. Depending on the price of gas, which is meant to be going up, we can either run the underfloor heating with gas as well. We can use solar, or we're probably going to use biomass or something as well. For all the waste, so for the toilets, which are coming out from the end container, we've got the sink coming out from there. We're putting a trench along here to about here, putting all the pipes inside that, which will run along here We'll also have from the toilet in there, pipes coming through that way and joining on, which will then run this way and over the edge. This I've taken from an Australian guy, which I saw on YouTube, and actually got in contact with him. And we're actually going to get 2 more IBCs, and it's going to start off with the waste coming into the first one, which will be up here, into here, which will then settle, which will then flow to the next one, which again will settle with the pipes inside, into the next one, which will have growth medium inside it. So bacteria can then grow and eat everything that's inside there, and which will be the next one as well. And then it'll go through with air being pumped through it, so you have oxygenation going on. You'll then get pumped out, well, go to the last one, which will then just flow out, which will then go from a pipe, which will be just about clear water by then, to, we've got 2 pipes here, put another box, and these pipes run under the ground with holes in and waterproof membrane around them, gravel, like a leach field, so it'll go all the way down that way. A lot of Greeks, they dig big holes and they put in what's called vothro or cesspit, and so you have to get that emptied out. Pumped out, yeah. Whereas this way, it's all being eaten naturally. This guy, the Australian guy, which I have actually seen, and I should put a link to it because it's quite amazing, he's not emptied his tanks in 10 years, and he has a family of 6. And down here where I've cleaned it, where I'm putting a greenhouse down here, I also have a hydroponics farm over there, and I'm going to do some hydroponics here, and also some Beto buckets growing tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers. And wow! So busy. Going more towards self-sufficiency as well, I suppose. But if you look around, I mean, you think, oh, there's a lot of rubbish here, but it's all stuff that people have been throwing away. We've decided to keep, which either we pass on to other people if they need that sort of thing, yeah, or we repurpose it for ourselves. IBCs, they hardly get used apart from being storage for stuff. They come here, they might get shipped back, they might not. There's a lot of roofing panels as well, which eventually they're going to cover over some of these as well. It's going to be shade cloth up and some roofing panels. Oh yes, we've got mains water coming in from the top, and we're going to put an RO, a reverse osmosis system, in there, and a pump and filters and storage tanks, so that they can actually, with the hydroponics, put the right nutrients in. But the way things have changed, it takes a while for anything to change in the country as a whole. So eventually they'll find out that you can actually harvest rainwater without mosquitoes being present.